The path of karma yoga focuses on performing good actions through service. Florence Nightingale was a light god who walked upon this path with utmost dedication. Florence was born in 1820 in Florence, Italy, the city which she was named after. Born into a wealthy and prominent family, she was expected to fall into line with the upper-class way of life and be a homemaker and socialite. Florence, however, felt strongly in her heart that God had called upon her to serve humanity through nursing. Despite opposition from her family and the restrictive social code of wealthy English women of the time, Florence worked hard to educate herself in the art of science of nursing. In the early 1850s, Florence took a nursing job in London. She made it her mission to improve hygiene practices, which significantly lowered the death rate at the hospital. Her performance was so impressive that she was promoted to superintendent within a year of being hired. In 1853, the Crimean War broke out. Thousands of wounded soldiers were admitted into military hospital. Conditions at these hospitals, however, were unsanitary and inhumane. The Secretary of War, Sidney Herbert, reached out to Nightingale asking for help. Nightingale quickly assembled a team of 34 nurses and sailed to the British hospital base at Scutari. Florence was appalled by the conditions at the hospital. "Ma'am, a cup of water, please." Florence discovered that even the drinking water was contaminated and emitting a foul odor. Most soldiers were dying from infectious diseases rather than from injuries from battle. Dismayed, she spoke to the chief of the hospital, Mr. Hall.
"The drinking water is not clean, and these soldiers are laying on the ground surrounded by filth. This is unacceptable. We need proper mattresses, blankets, and clothing."
Absolutely not. Listen, this is a military hospital, not the royal palace. I'm the chief, and I will decide what is necessary.
"Mr. Hall, I have been given orders from the Secretary of War, Sidney Herbert himself."
They may have given you a fancy title back in London, Miss Nightingale, but to me, you are no more than a cleaning woman.
"Over 100 soldiers are dying here each day because they lie in filth. The soldiers have diseases, but are too weak to rise from their bed. This goes beyond cleaning things up."
Most of these scum lived in worse conditions before they came here. You'll only spoil the brutes.
"These scum, Chief Hall, are giving their lives for our country."
Enough! You will obey me and the rules of this hospital, or you will be sent home.
I suppose he thinks I'll leave, but I'll stay and obey. I am not disheartened that he does not recognize my authority. He might slow me down a bit, but no one can stop me from showing compassion.
Florence spent every waking minute caring for the soldiers. In the evenings, she walked through the dark hallways carrying a lamp while she was making her rounds, ministering to her patients after patient. She walked with the light. The soldiers, who were both moved and comforted by her endless supply of compassion, took to calling her the Lady with the Lamp.
Miss Nightingale, we just received a large shipment of supplies under your name. What is the meaning of this?
It's food for the soldiers.
And a stuff and utensils and a requisition for a chef? This purchase was not approved. How dare you authorize such spending of military money? You've gone too far, Miss Nightingale. Pack your bags and leave at once.
I paid for it myself.
The chief was shocked that Florence had spent her own wages to buy supplies for the wounded soldiers, but this was the kind of person she was. Florence was an unstoppable force of compassion. Whether or not she had support, she worked tirelessly to help improve conditions at the Scutari. Due to her efforts, the hospital's death rate was cut by 2/3. Florence went on to write a book based on her observations at the Scutari, which spurred reform of many other hospitals. Her good actions not only revolutionized the field of nursing, but also helped shape healthcare as we know it today.